Why opening your fridge door is quietly destroying the compressor. You are not breaking your refrigerator by slamming the door. You are breaking it by opening it. A few seconds at a time. Dozens of times a day. Every single day. You stand there, holding the door open, deciding what to eat. You grab a drink, close it, and then open it again 10 seconds later because you forgot the ice. It feels harmless. But mechanically, you are forcing the most expensive component in your kitchen into a stress cycle it was never designed to repeat endlessly. And the damage is already happening. Your refrigerator is not a passive box that keeps food cold. It is an active, high-pressure mechanical system that never truly rests. At the heart of that system is the compressor. This single component determines whether your fridge lasts 15 years or fails in 5. Every time you open the fridge door, you are pulling the trigger on a chain reaction that ends with a massive repair bill. Let's break down the engineering reality of what happens when that seal is broken. First, we need to understand the physics of air exchange. Inside your refrigerator, the air is cold, dense, and dry. Outside, in your kitchen, the air is warm, light, and humid. The moment you crack the door open, physics takes over. Cold air is heavy. It falls out of the bottom of the fridge and spills onto your floor. You can physically feel this cold wash over your feet. Simultaneously, warm air from the room rushes in to fill the vacuum. This is not a slow mix. It is a violent, turbulent exchange. In just 10 seconds of the door being open, you can lose 50% of the cooled air inside the compartment. When you close the door, you have trapped that warm, moist air inside. Now the machine has to deal with it. The temperature sensors detect the heat spike immediately. They don't negotiate. They issue a command to the main control board, temperature critical. Cool down now. The control board relays this message to the compressor. And this is where the damage happens. Most people think a compressor runs like a car engine, smooth and continuous. It doesn't. It runs in cycles, on and off. The most dangerous moment in a compressor's life is the startup. To go from a dead stop to high-speed pumping requires a massive surge of energy. This is called inrush current, or locked rotor amps. For a split second, the compressor draws 5 to 10 times its normal running electricity. This surge creates intense heat in the electrical windings. It creates a violent mechanical torque on the internal piston, and it puts extreme stress on the start capacitor. Once the compressor is running, it is happy. It is lubricated. It is stable. But the act of starting is traumatic. Every time you open the door unnecessarily, you are forcing an extra start cycle. Open the door. Warm air enters. Close the door. Sensor panics. Compressor kicks on. High stress. Compressor turns off. You open the door again. Repeat this 40 times a day, and you are subjecting the motor to thousands of unnecessary thermal shocks every year. The internal oil thickens. The valves fatigue. The start relay wears out. Individually, one door opening does nothing. Collectively, they guarantee a premature death. But heat is only the first enemy. The second enemy is invisible. Humidity. The warm air in your kitchen carries water vapor. The cold air inside the fridge does not. When you let warm air in, that moisture has to go somewhere. It condenses. It turns into water droplets on your food containers. But worse, it turns into frost on the evaporator coils. These coils are hidden behind the back panel of your fridge. They are the lungs of the system. When they get covered in frost, they cannot absorb heat efficiently. Your refrigerator knows this. So it has a defrost cycle. A heating element turns on to melt the ice off the coils. Think about that for a second. To keep your fridge cold, the machine has to turn on a heater inside itself. This heater uses electricity. It adds heat to the compartment, which means the compressor has to run even longer to remove that heat once the ice is melted. By leaving the door open, you are letting in moisture that forces the machine to fight itself. You are triggering more defrost cycles, more heating, more compressor runtime, more wear and tear. You are paying for this mistake twice. First, you pay on your monthly electricity bill. A fridge with a bad door habit can use 20% to 30% more energy than one used correctly. Second, you pay on the repair invoice. Let's talk about the cost of failure. A compressor is a hermetically sealed unit. It is welded shut. You cannot open it to fix a small part inside. When the compressor fails, you have two choices. Choice 1. Replace the compressor. This involves a specialized technician, welding equipment, and refrigerant handling. The labor and parts often cost $600 to $800. Choice 2. Buy a new refrigerator, which costs $1,000 to $3,000. In almost every case, when the compressor dies, the technician will tell you, "It's not worth fixing." And that sentence usually comes 5 years too early, caused by a decade of tiny habits that felt harmless. This is why refrigerators die suddenly. Not because they were defective, not because of bad luck, but because they were overworked in short, brutal bursts of restarts. Energy efficiency ratings are calculated based on standard use. They assume the door stays closed most of the time. They assume stable temperatures. Your habits destroy those assumptions. So how do you stop this cycle? You need a utility protocol. Action 1. The decision first rule. Do not open the door to look. Open the door to grab. Decide what you want before your hand touches the handle. Visualize the location of the milk. Open. Grab. Close. Speed is your ally. Action 2. The batching technique. If you are cooking dinner, do not open the fridge 5 times for 5 ingredients. Open it once. Take out the butter, the eggs, the milk, and the vegetables all at the same time. One long opening is mechanically better than 5 short ones because it reduces the number of restart cycles. Action 3. Listen to the machine. If you hear the compressor running, a low hum, try not to open the door until it stops. Let it finish its cooling cycle. Interrupting a cycle or adding heat load while it is already working hard puts maximum strain on the system. Your refrigerator is the hardest working appliance in your home. It is the only one that runs 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. It does not get tired from running. It gets tired from restarting. Every unnecessary door opening is a small withdrawal from a finite bank account of mechanical life. And just like debt, the interest compounds. The compressor doesn't care about your hunger. It only cares about physics. Stop fighting the physics. Keep the door closed.